Hi, I'm Bill Rubenstein, your SAT expert for professorat.com. Here we're going to talk about certain questions where you can't necessarily predict an answer. You have to understand the question. Now that seems so obvious that most people will just jump over the statement. But very, very often I find students simply begin to answer the question without having read it carefully, and they don't even understand specifically what's being asked. How do you avoid making that mistake? Rephrase every question. When you're training, take the extra time. Put the question in your own words. Make sure you understand what's being asked. Find an answer to that question, and then match. But maybe there's one type of question where this doesn't work always. And those are questions which refer to specific information in the passage. These questions frequently are phrased in the following manner. Which of the following most closely reflects the position of the mango salesman mentioned in the third paragraph? The first thing you should notice that this problem is going to take a moment to solve, because before you do anything else, you better track down that mango salesman and find out what his position is. So read again the pertinent information about the mango salesman and put it in your own words. For the sake of argument, let's say the mango salesman's position is as follows. He prices them high, hoping to develop an aura of fabulous value and romance around his product. Now let's go to our question. The answer choices are as follows. 1. A seller of fine wines who offers a twice-monthly 2-day discount for his best customers. 2. A nut salesman who includes expensive macadamia nuts in his peanut and cashew mix so that he can charge more. 3. The importer of a cheap Chinese-made car who tries to sell it for 3 times its actual value, believing that if he sold it for less, consumers would suspect that it was no good. And 4, a Swedish clothing manufacturer who copies the latest Milan fashions and sells them by the tens of thousands for 1/5 the price of an Italian designer. And 5, the distributor of a famous brand of French champagne who raises prices in response to the falling value of the dollar. Now, some of you with nervous parents or much older siblings who took the SAT years ago are saying, I thought there weren't any analogy questions on the SAT anymore. Well, there's no analogy section, but analogies along with inferences are sometimes built into a few questions. In this case, we have both. To solve the problem, though, let's not even think about analogies till we've made an inference. What was the mango salesman's thinking when he raised the price? What's behind his reasoning that people will pay more than they need to for a luxury item? Well, he thinks that people judge quality based on its price. To make this clear to yourself, just turn the positive aspects of the statement into negatives. If he lowered the price, people would think it's the opposite of fabulous and romantic, in other words, common and boring, and they won't want them. In fact, studies show people really do develop ideas like this. If everybody was forced to eat caviar with Spam every morning for breakfast, people would think that caviar and Spam had exactly the same quality and worth. So this is the point. We have to make an inference in order to match our choices. The answer, as you've guessed it, makes the same inference, which is number 3. Okay, so you're saying you did predict. I thought you said you couldn't. You're right. I lied. Sorry. But you see, even when you are looking for a fact, you should know what you're looking for because you have a specific hypothesis in mind. Let me give you one more example. What if the question says, which of the following statements is most directly supported by the argument in the third paragraph? Again, you find the argument, restate it, then match, one by one against the answer choices. In some cases, the questions will be phrased in strange and intriguing ways. They might say, which example most directly contradicts the argument? Or they might say, which is most remotely related to? Or perhaps the phrase will appear in some fantastic shading being invented by the College Board even as you view this. In each case, your job is simple. Read the question. Make sure you understand exactly what it's instructing you to do, then do it step by step. A shockingly large number of students get low scores on this test just because they are unwilling to follow the instructions carefully, which means taking the time to think it through rather than just jumping to answers where you're shopping. But then perhaps, maybe part of what the test makers are trying to find out is which students really do care. I'm Bill Rubenstein, your SAT expert for professorat.com.